the logical person, because with your emotions get in the way, it's very hard to sometimes do the most important things, or do the things that will help you the most. That's where the logic hat comes in. Logic sometimes isn't very pleasant. You know, it's the truth, and it's what we need to do. And I want to tell you another story. Go with this logic hat. There was a girl once, and she had a fight with a boyfriend at home. And after that fight, she went out walking in the neighborhood, and she was looking for a job. She was just trying to get a little day job. And she went to the bowling alley, because the bowling alley was a place she'd worked before in a number of different functions. And she went up to the manager of the bowling alley, which is like 2 blocks from her house. And she said, "You have any work?" And the manager says, "Oh, you know, fill out this form." So she filled out the form and all that. And then the manager chatted with her, "So we don't have anything right now, but we can call you back, because, you know, sometimes things show up in a week or 2. And then they started chit-chatting, just, you know, because she was kind of in a bad mood. So she started talking, you know, a 23-year-old girl, just started talking with the guy, you know, about, you know, frustrations and things, and looking for a job, and blah, 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 blah. And the guy says, "Hey, you know, I'm about to take my lunch break." And he said, "Do you smoke herb? You know, want to smoke some herb?" You know, young people. So she's in a bad mood, so she goes, "Oh, what the hell? You know, why not?" And he says, "Okay, I'll meet you." He said, "You know, the other part of the bowling alley, it's closed off. We can go sneak over there and hide in there, do smoke, and then we'll come back." So he says, "I'll go around the back and unlock the front door over there, and you just come on in." So she goes, she goes walking out, goes to the front door on the other side, opens the door, and she goes in. And it's a glassed-in area, but kind of frosty, you know. And they sit there right at the door, and he pulls out a little bit of herb, and they smoke the herb and chit-chat. They have a nice time, a pleasant conversation, and then it's time. He says, "Well, I got to get back to work." And he says, "Oh, let's go out the back, because I don't want them to see us going out the front together. Are you coming back out now? So why don't we go out the back?" And he says, "It's just down the stairs there, into the basement, and out the back door." And she got this feeling. Something was not right about this. And she said, she looked him in the eye, and she said, "No, I don't want to go out the back door. You let me out the front door right now." And he looked her back in the eye, and he said, "You think I'm going to kill you, don't you?" She looked back at him and said, "Yes, I do." And he opened the front door and let her out. Now, she survived that. Let's assume, though, she hadn't survived that. Let's assume she had just toggled along after him, a little high, down to the basement, and he raped and murdered her down there. Okay? He comes back out, goes back to the bowling alley, takes her little form, throws it in the trash can. She goes missing. Now the police show up, talk to the boyfriend, who's now going to be what? He's going to be #1 suspect. Talk to the family, talk to friends if they, you know, around. We go to Mom and Dad, and they say, "What's your daughter like?" "My daughter's a great girl. You know, she's always been hardworking, and, you know, she and her boyfriend have been together for a while. They're actually engaged. They're going to get married, and, you know, she's great. She's not stupid. She's a very smart, educated. She's college educated." And they said, "Well, would she have, you know, gotten in somebody's car?" You know, she didn't know. And they said, "Oh, absolutely not. Does she do any kind of drugs at all?" "Oh, no, she doesn't smoke. She doesn't smoke. I don't think she smokes any herb." And the boyfriend's like, "Yeah, no, she wouldn't do that." So everybody's saying she wouldn't smoke that herb. She wouldn't make a choice, perhaps, to do something silly for 1 minute of her life, to go have a chat because she's in a bad mood. By not saying that, by making her the perfect victim, that piece of information is not in the detective's hands, and they are not going to ever find the body of that girl in the basement of that bowling alley. Maybe if they had said, "Well, you know, she was in a bad mood, and she has smoked a little herb in her life, so maybe she would have done that." You know, and I know this would be true for a fact, what these people would have said, because I'm that girl. That was me. And I've smoked herb. I have not smoked herb. No. Yeah, I was one of these people who would never buy it, but once in a while, if a person was like, "Oh, okay." You know? Only thing I ever did in my life, but that was a very, very scary experience. And I still believe to this day, had I gone in that basement, I'd be dead. Nothing ever came of it, of course. You know, I just went home, didn't say anything to the boyfriend, who became my husband, who became my ex. But now he'd say, I know exactly what she's like. At that time, he probably would have stood up, and my parents would have done the same thing. Another one, I know my parents would say, oh, she'd never open the door to somebody she doesn't know. Not true. I'm a criminal profiler. I open my door all the time to people I don't know. In the middle of the night. I don't know why. I got this curiosity problem. So one night I walked over there, and I see this guy behind the door, open it up, it's like midnight, I'm home alone. This thuggy looking dude standing there. I'm like, crap. I'm like, can I help you? He goes, Jeremy home? That's my son. I'm like, oh, okay, one of those friends. Well, he looked kind of scary, you know? I mean, well, he wasn't, there's nothing wrong with him. He's just, you know, one of those, you know, thug dresser wannabes, you know, kind of things. But I will do that, because I don't know, stupid that way. We all have things about us that aren't the best things that we've ever done. I mean, especially when you're younger. I don't know. I would like to ask people here who are over whatever age. Don't you ever think back sometimes that, I don't know how I survived my teens or 20s? Yeah. You don't want to tell your kids, yeah, I did that, and I did that, and I did that, because you're trying to get your kids not to act like that. So you're like, oh, I never did those things when I was your age. Until later on, you're sitting around one night when you're older, and you're having a drink together, and you finally just say, oh, yeah, I used to do that. And they're like, Mom? I don't want to tell you that, because then you go do it and you get killed. But, you know. But I actually look back, and I could probably put 24 things, dumb crap things I did at that age. Whether it be go home with a guy, I had no idea who he was. You know, and I wake up in the morning, I forgot your first name. I don't know your last name. And then sometime you told me your first name. I don't even know where I am. You know, the guy was drinking, and a cute guy, we were dancing, in his car, I ended up in his house. I mean, it was the 70s. You know, I wake up in the morning going, I mean, how dumb am I? Okay, I was dumb. You know, I had those moments of my life. I did a lot of traveling. Usually preceded by, hey, watch it. I did a lot of traveling. I was kind of crazy when I was younger, and I just, you know, I went to Hollywood. I did all kinds of stuff. Believe me, when I talk about, and anybody who's been on Facebook lately knows that people have been like killing Pat Brown because I've spoken up about certain things. And the reason I've spoken up about them is because I don't want mythology to be out there. It does not help us. Your children, your loved ones are great people, but sometimes they make poor choices. I made poor choices, they're making poor choices. And some people go, they didn't make a choice. I'm like, yeah, they did. You know, it doesn't make them a bad person, but they probably made a bad choice. And it's just life, you know, we do those things. But if you're working with a police department, and your child has somehow sprouted wings out of their back, you know, and now they're little perfect angels, does not help getting information about where your child could be. What could have happened to them? You've got to know those details, because those are the things that lead to the proper location. And it's just one of the things I try to tell people. You can look at every lead in the world, and oh boy, people go back there. You can't let any lead go unsearched. I'm like, yes, you can, because all leads are not the same. Somebody calls me up and says, I think that person was seen in the Gobi Desert. You know, I don't have investigative money. The police department has investigative money to send a team to the Gobi Desert because somebody saw a tourist who happened to look like the missing person. You know, there's only so much money in this world, and although we'd like to see, you know, 100% of every taxpayer's dollar going to searching for missing people and solving crime, we don't have that kind of money. It doesn't exist, so we can't be going in the wrong places, because then we can't go to the right place. So when the time comes you need that investigator to go to the right place, all the money's been sucked off looking in all the wrong places. And for the next victim, there's no money left for their search at all, because all the money's gone. So I'm trying to get to people to understand, don't live with illusions about your loved ones. You know, if you know, I mean, your loved one may have angels wings sprouting out of their back, but, you know, and to you they always will, you know, because they're yours, you know. But what reality is, a lot of the time when people go missing, a lot of times they're young, and they have gotten themselves into less than the best situation. And my kids are no different, and, you know, I look at them and go, you know, thank God, you know, they're still with me today, but still making stupid mistakes. You know, they're almost 30, but, you know, delayed childhood thing, they're still doing crap, you know. I'm like, you know. So I'm trying to insist that people, you know, put your life